What is up, guys? It's Cormac from The Disciples here, and we are here with...
Sam, Gabe, Marcus.
And you guys all had a great weekend here at YCS Pasadena.
Oh, I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah. Gabe, you came in top 8.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, you ended up in top 16. And Marcus, you finished on a 9-2 record. And
Came 34th. It is what it is. It's a top 10 record.
yeah. Of course.
We count those.
And what deck did you guys all play this weekend?
We played Ishizu tier.
Shockingly. Yeah.
I think our list was pretty different than everyone else's though, which is kind of interesting.
Okay.
So there's a couple of things to discuss.
Cool. Yeah. There was a lot of discussion that went into this deck list, so I'm sure you guys have a lot that you want to get out of it. So we'll get right into it.
All right. So let's look at the main deck first. Tiers, we went for the 12 tiers ratio. It's kind of standard. I think almost everyone was on this. I think Hani was playing Chumardi though. I did like this, but just tier.
Yeah. It's one of the easiest part of the deck.
Yeah, so it's so used at this point. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Our Ishizu ratios are kind of different. Like, I do want to expand on this. We played 3 Kaudo, 3 Mudara, and 3 Karobak. And you play differently, right?
Yeah, I played one Agido.
Right. Yo.
So I played one Agido only because I wasn't sure on how much rogue I'd play, and the ability for you to have to make your opponent mill 5 and make them mill all the engine cards, I thought was really good. But after seeing like the matchup spread that was in the tournament, I do think probably 3 was correct. That you didn't really need to mill 5.
Yeah, so the way we see those cards is that Kelbeck is a hand trap in the mirror. It's actually a very good hand trap.
Yeah.
Because what happens a lot is that people try to make Dweller and then mill. Because they try to make Dweller, then mill, because they want to mill a shuffler, mill their mill 5 and mill under Dweller. And when that happens, you can Kelbeck monster Dweller. And it's pretty good, because I think like as long as you get to your turn and you're not under Dweller, you're fine. And we play those as mills, right? Like, Keldo is fine to draw if another one, Mudara's kind of meh.
Yeah.
But you can normal summon them, you can... if you draw pairs, they're good. And if you mill them, they're super insane. And you need them because people are milling blind.
Yeah.
I think this is a call that we made that we were right. Like, most people in Top Cut were just activating the mill 5s, even in the mirror match. Even if they knew it was a mirror match, they were doing it. Because they were playing, they thought they could win the milling war, but we disagree on that point. And I think you can play games a lot less stressful. Like, there's games like you don't need to get to the point of like, yeah, you mill 5, you get to chain link 9, just make Dweller and crime and you pass.
Yes,
and you win.
basically, yeah.
I also want to say people forget about the on-field effect, and
Yeah.
it's so important when you're trying to crack boards and the Dweller, when you're trying to like even going first, the player on halfness, the mill 5 from the field is so strong. And there's there's minimal disadvantage on starting your turn if you if you're not going to use your normal summon, you could just normal summon this and just play around halfness.
Yeah. Like the strongest thing is when you go like Kaudo pitch 1, especially if you pitch this guy, but even if you pitch this, and then you normal Rhino, because like one of the ways to lose the mirror, I feel, is like Haven is just popping off. Like, you know those like insane Haven that hit like 2 names and they like start fusions, 3 times in your turn. So this are sick. Really like the ratio. And then this is a card you play different to play the Agido, because you played 40. Me and Sam played 3 Magnemite and Drillstorm. You played 2 Magnet?
2. But I would have, if I could go back and I saw the amount of Ishizu 2 that there were, I would play 3. I didn't want too many cards that were bad versus Rogue, but it was all Ishizu 2 at the event.
Yeah.
I mean, the business just was so good all weekend, especially given that we have the Guru in TCG relative to OCG, and it making Beatrice so much easier, gives you additional access to get to the Crime, Suliek, or further tiers and extender if need be. It was just really good. And Beatrice is obviously just great to end on as well.
Yeah, I know people that didn't play Magnemite because they say that you can, if they mill you, they can dark take this Magnemite. I think that argument's a bit fake, honestly, because if you're dark taking our Magnemite because they milled you, and they milled you and they're playing, so you're under the Dweller probably. You probably already lost that game. I don't think the difference between winning and losing is the fact that they dark took the Magnemite. And if they milled you not under Dweller, usually on the Shuffler Wars, you can just shuffle your own Magnemites back, so it doesn't really matter there. So now I'm really glad I played 3. It was insane for me all weekend. I played 14 mirror matches, so every single match I played was a mirror. It's kind of crazy. I think we underestimated the amount of mirrors in general, right?
Sure.
Like, I think our guess was like 6-7 through Swiss. Yeah, I played 11. Marcus, maybe?
I think maybe 8.
I think I played 7.
So yeah, like there's a lot of Ishizu here. So this is very good.
Yeah.
This is also different from our list. We played Stein. So one thing they're gonna realize is that we don't actually play Orange Light, which I think is a mainstay on most people's lists.
Yeah.
Because we don't play Orange Light, we don't have to play Diviner to boost those numbers. And we're testing Stein. First we had Stein with Exterior.
Exterior, yeah.
Because the idea is that you just have like a way HP, extra HP evenly and stuff like that. But we realized that Stein is just a generally good card.
Yeah.
Like it's very good into buy stats. It works when they empty Dweller you.
It makes summoning these cards a lot more easier, so you can play around hand traps even more, and it gives you the ability to make 4 fusions in one turn.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like a second instant fusion in a way. There's some games like I was gonna end on a weak board, but I milled Stein, and then I can Alfred Born Stein, and I can Stein someone like Garuru, and then I can make like an IP or a Sprint. It's super set.
And it's not the Mud Dragon material.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Make Mud Dragon Stein. I made Mud Dragon Stein so many times. It's also important to keep this away from your graveyard.
For sure,
Yes,
you don't want to be dark
yeah,
clicking.
for sure.
Because if it's good for you, it's good for them. So yeah, so I think I want to talk about No Orange Light before we go, because I think that's like a big part of our list, right?
For sure.
Most people were playing a bigger Ishizu package and Orange Light. We think Orange Light's kind of weird in the mill here, because when Orange Light pitch a guy that mills, it's awkward because you're milling them in a lot of scenarios. They have a shuffler and you don't, so you're kind of just going to casino. And you have to play more cards like extra Guidos that we didn't want to play.
Yeah.
So I was very, very happy I didn't play Orange Light.
Yeah. I think that was just initially a straight one-to-one take from OCG, and I think if this format develops, it might not see as much play because there isn't really, aside from Shifter, anything you want to have to invest that resources to try and stop here, as far as I'm aware.
There was also 2 scenarios with Orange Light. So one is like, you didn't really, if you're playing for the mirror, you probably could find a better card for the mirror. And if you're playing versus Rogue, you didn't want the shufflers in your deck post side.
Yeah.
So then like, it kind of messed up the math on Orange Light where you like committed to play it, or like it was something you had to side out. So we would rather just have a better card for the mirror and side in better cards for the Rogue decks.
Yeah, just make it side better. I was having this conversation with people, and they were just keeping all the issues into everything. But then, like, you have like Mudoras against Flunder because you have to make your Orange Light more live.
Yeah.
So I think like even though the card is very very good, the siding is awkward. So yeah, no regrets there.
Yep.
Sorry, small interruption. Tree field spell.
Yep, of course.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, and then the best field spell.
My G. Another copy.
Yeah.
Another copy. Shout out to Aaron.
Aaron McInnes, honestly one of the best cards in the deck. It literally gets you to field spell, it gets you to this, and it outs the Mystic Mind.
Yeah.
It just does everything, and it can be a hand trap because if they start doing the field spell effects, if you really wanted to, you could set rotation down.
I wanted all weekend for someone to go battle phase, and I go, okay, start a battle phase, set rotation. Even lead once. So
Yeah, fair.
Another cool thing with Setrot is that one of the ways you can beat mine is that they chain a shuffler in grave while they have field spell.
Yeah.
And then on resolution, the field spell triggers pop your mine.
Yeah.
But if you set rotation, you clear your field spell.
Yeah.
And then you can just flip mine.
True.
It's not. Mine was insane for me all weekend. I had a crazy game. I remember I like round 5, I think. I opened like 2 mines, 2 Mudoras, and a Crime going first. So I activated mine. I normal summoned Mudora. He said Crime and passed. He summoned Kaldo pitching a guy. I banished my Mudora because again they forget about the field effects. And then they just locked on the Rhine.
Yeah.
Like it was just like a floodgate going
There's
first.
so many different interactions where this card it works so well with the deck.
Yeah.
And the end board that people end on this is the end board you struggle to beat. It's Dweller. It's like Dweller, Shufflers, and they've got cards now, and it's so tough for you to beat that. But there's a world where you can't. This card lets you beat it because you can activate it, play through the mine. You can have a Shuffler, trade for the Shuffler so they have no Shufflers, and you can set up your Shufflers to stop their cards in their hand.
Yeah.
And there's not many cards there's no cards in the format that really do that by itself, and like you can't really bank on drawing 2 others in this deck because it's all engine. The deck is all engine, and you don't really want to play more non-engine because it makes your deck worse. So this card just kind of was perfect.
Yeah.
And these 2 cards are just also consistency cards too if you need the field spell.
Yeah, and the deck the deck does kind of struggle for consistency because we play
sure.
less Ishizus.
For sure.
So our Kaldos are not as starters as other people's decks. So this being an extra consistency card.
Yeah,
is
we're
nice.
not milling 5, so we're like our deck is a bit more inconsistent.
Yeah, we're trying to do less. We're trying to do enough, right? But I think that's
Yeah.
the approach we went for.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy with this. We went for 3 Scream.
Yeah, but also because we're playing less of the mill 5s, this card becomes much better.
Yeah, amazing card. I got it.
It's another consistency card, and again, because we're not trying to do huge boards, hitting this off your mill 5 or mill 8 from Kit Kalos really helps.
Yeah.
And it's
Ending your turn 1 with it is also insane.
yeah, exactly. It's just a generally good card. It's very good against Sprite, because it like literally pressure stowed. It's very good against Rogue. In the mirror, we side Chew out because it kind of just gets it's Banish Dweller, right?
Yeah.
But like going first is a generally super good card.
Also, plus Attribute Summon disted out to Avramax, which can be a bit of an issue for some decks.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's funny.
That's really sick.
Yeah, that's relevant. Yeah, very nice.
Really, really sick.
Alright. And then Heartbeat. If we thought Music Mind was good,
No, I still think this card's insane going first
Yeah.
because you can go, you can mill it with Beatrice, and I've used it to add a trap. I think it's, yeah.
Beatrice and like Perlorino pop
Yeah.
color and stuff.
It's also really just useful to out the field spell in the mirror because that thing dictates so many. It won so many games just having the Pellerino access relative to my opponent. So
I think you have to play it.
I had a sick game under mine that I had a Kaleido Heart and had like 2 monsters, and I just kept triggering my Kaleido Heart, and I kept shuffling my Heartbeat back with my shuffler and then sending it to loop my crime. So I could keep looping his answer to mine. So now Heartbeat is super good. And again, like we're not the only ones playing mine. We acknowledge that if we think mine is good, other people will realize mine is good, right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to respect it.
God card.
yeah,
And then Crime Celiac.
Yeah.
I never liked Crime in tier, but this format you kind of need to. It also gets a lot better with the Ishizu cards, because like if you can end on Dweller and you have like Kelbeck in hand, then you Dweller them, then you Crime pitch to Kelbeck, you just like pop off.
Like, we know that out to this is either Herald or like Droplet, so you just want to cover that. And just so you know, like, if this resolves, you win.
Exactly. You just need to like have Dweller and have follow up.
I think this card gets better with the Ishizu cards because if I have like a crime with a Kelbeck in hand and this resolved, this is game. Because then I mill 5 on my turn when I can safely do it, and it's just, at that point it's like free.
I had my round 9 opponent left a Bestial up while I had Dweller and Celiac on field, along with like a Merly just to keep Celiac live. And he dropped it, pitched a monster while keeping the Magnet on field, and Dweller obviously just resolved because they changed Celiac. So that's just one to remember.
That's really sick. That's a really good play.
Yeah. No, it's pretty sick. So another thing, crime affecting Grave comes up a lot this format. I figured because of the buy stats. Like a lot of one other cool thing is that you always start by going Rhino for like when your first effect when you get to choose what you're dumping, you try to do Hoviness.
Yeah.
Because if that gets buy stat, and then later in the turn you hit a crime, you crime add the Hoviness back as a hand trap.
Yeah.
Also, a large reason as to why Cherries isn't necessarily as good as people were hoping it to be.
Yeah, I got cherries once or twice and I just like managed to mill Crime, and it was really cool again with your Callus back. It's also because you're playing less of the Ishizu cards in your deck, a lot of times you have just one randomly just like still chilling in your hand, so like Crime just pitching it just becomes another piece of interaction.
Yeah, exactly. No, I really like this. So 40 cards. It's very important to play 40 ammo. I've seen people playing 41, 42 all weekend.
Yeah.
I think it's very important because everyone's milling you. You need to maximize your chance to hit those shufflers. Because you need to steal games going second, right? And the way to do that is when they mill you, you want to out casino them.
Yeah.
And add variance, add chaos. Like you wanna hit your Kelbeck, you wanna hit your shufflers, and force them to make misplays. I don't know about you guys, but I felt so many rounds with my opponents, like when the game state got complicated, it was good for me. Because they kept missing triggers, or they didn't like fully understand the chain, they shuffled the wrong things. So yeah.
Cool. On to the extra deck.
Yeah.
Sneak peek.
Yeah. God card.
God card.
One kit. Let's go fusions though, I guess. Kit. Yeah, one each. We don't think we need a second kit.
Yeah.
You can always really shuffle it. It can be kind of annoying if it gets banished by a bystad, but you can cry it back, and you can also play without kit. It's not great, but you can do it.
Yeah.
Before I was shuffling a Kit Kalos to make a second Kit Kalos or Stapelia all the time, but now we've got Kalos as well. You can just cycle it a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it never really ends in my grave during like my turn because I just shuffle it for the third fusion I make. Because this deck plays a lot less aquas or tears, and so when you're infusing for this, like a lot of times you have to use this.
It's also sometimes not the worst to end in it in your graveyard because we're trying to end up on Dweller and we don't want to lose to Super Poly.
Yeah.
So on your opponent's turn, then after you resolve Dweller, you can then like trigger it to your effect and infuse for Ishizu Callus on your opponent's turn, and then the Super Poly there, it's whatever because you've already resolved Dweller.
Yeah, exactly. Once Dweller resolved, bro, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, tier fusions.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Elf. Sprint, IP, and Dark.
Yeah.
I mean, these three are standard. Like, you can actually play them. Oh, Sprint Effectual Bounce came up to me like 3 times this weekend.
I agree.
I Sprint Effectual Bounce to bounce the Baguska. I made a Beatrice after making Sprint and detach one of the Beatrice materials to bounce a Kaleido Heart. Like, it was actually super sick for me.
Yeah.
Dark is like insane as well. I made it like once or twice, but it was important those games. I don't know what I would want to play over this spot, so I think it was fine. Just like a last minute decision. I don't know how it was for you guys.
It was alright. The idea was like you kind of want to end on follow up because sometimes you don't get to, you don't have the ability to trigger a tier on your opponent's turn or get to another tier, and being able to go this into this in your opponent's turn kind of gets the ball rolling for you, which I kind of do like.
Yeah, because I feel like the games you lose when you make a minimal board is when you only make Dweller and you don't have H fields.
Yeah.
Because then sometimes Dwellers just run over. Yeah. And like they can have
exactly
like, other biases and stuff. So you prioritize Dweller and ways to play after.
That's exactly it.
Yep.
So yeah. And then Exceeds with the Redoer, Baguska, Dweller. So I mean God card.
Yep.
My G. Baguska, it was mainly for Flunder and for Sprite. It comes up in the mirror sometimes though. There's game states in the mirror that Baguska is very good.
Yep.
And Redoer is super important. I've been a Redoer hater for forever, but this format really comes up. What happens a lot is that you, like, so because of buy stats, sometimes you get buy stat on the first tier that you dump with Rhino, and then you Shiren. And then if that whiffs, for example, you can go Redoer with Rhino and Shiren and Redoer effect, and now you don't have a monster, so they can't buy stat you, so you get the Kid Kalos trigger, and once you get that ball rolling, it really gets there. Yeah. So it never really end on Redoer.
No, it's not an end board piece, right? It's like kind of like a way to play through hand traps from the action, almost, right? Yeah.
Also, if it's the only thing you control and you're just trying to trigger the tier under it and you don't control any other monsters, they can't be stick with it.
Exactly.
It's just like a somewhat safer way to go about it.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then we did Beatrice. This card was super good for me all weekend. I'm so glad I insisted on it. Whenever you have Magnamod going first, it's very good because it makes sure that you set up. I mean, usually when you have Magnamod going first, it means you have double trap because you're gonna hit like a screen probably, and then you can. Or the Kid Kalos searches the other. This dumps the scream or this dumps the heartbeat. It just kind of gets the missing piece, and it's a very good interaction during your opponent's turn because it means that you get to dump a shuffler if you need. You get to dump a tier name. So
it's very versatile. Yep.
It feels good. I know. I really like summoning Beatrice.
I agree.
And
this card was sick.
What's its name, Sam?
Zeus.
Alright.
Really good.
The win condition going second is kind of Dweller Zeus, right?
That's the one card.
Yeah, pretty much. You get Dwellers, and it's like already could call have a board.
Also, because we play Mystic Mine, this card's a lot better.
Yeah.
Because it means we can Mystic Mine people and then make Dweller. Attack into something. Zeus. Then just play main phase 2. And then main phase 2 are safe because like they're under Dweller, so tier can't interrupt you there. Like they can't shuffle, they can't Halvenis, none of the cards do anything, and you just play main phase 2.
So you basically play. Can you play through 2 Bestials? Because I know some people play 9, but so you just mine them until you get to that point where you're safe to play, and then you're done.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways to play under mine. I still think we're not like fully solved in it because we tiered more than we played. So I think like if we had like 2 or 3 more days of actual play testing, I think it'd be like insane. I still think we played well overall, but could be like slightly better. I felt like I was discovering things on the fly.
Fair.
So yeah, side deck.
I love volcanics.
Yes, Exo Brody. This card. Has anyone here resolved this card?
No.
We were just all scared. Like we hadn't played any. No one. There's no tournaments with this deck. We didn't play any. We played time matches against each other, and they were long, but games were a lot more quicker. I don't think 1, we started knowing the combo like that. 2, we weren't milling 5, so our turn was like very quick. We knew our turn would make Dweller, get a tier, have crime, and now we could do that in 2 minutes. And when you have that, when they're on the Dweller, the game ends on turn 3. The game ends on turn 3. That's kind of how it works. So the games were a lot shorter than we expected. And I'd rather have just had a. If honestly, I'd rather have 3 Impem over this. That would be the swap.
I think going forward, if people start getting a better handle on how the deck works, because I found over the event that I was able to punish people's like major misplays just not being familiar enough with the deck. Whether the games were a lot shorter than they would have been in like a few weeks in. So maybe this is better placed, for Dortmund or later. But for now, I think we should.
Which again, we had no way to measure how long the match is gonna take. The one time I drew it in time, my opponent normal summoned a copy of Murdy. This is a fact. And milled his volcanic scatter shot. And I was looking at this, I'm like, why?
Imagine if you had Imperm.
Imagine if I had Imperm!
Yeah,
Legit.
true.
Anyways.
This is random.
This looks odd, right?
Yeah.
This was very good for me.
Same. It's very good for me. Like I said, we recognize the way you lose the mirror is Dweller. Like we can crack boards that are not this guy.
Yeah.
But when this guy is on board, we lose so much value. Their shufflers beat our shufflers. Our monster effects get traded for their traps or their interruptions on board, and then we can't do anything. But this card at least trades with Dweller. Even if we see they're about to do with Carlos, they trades with Dweller. But it's kind of correct to play around Super Poly.
Yeah.
So then they have to play into this.
Yeah. I was finding that everyone after like round 7 or 8 just weren't playing around Super Poly, and so Nib losed a lot of his efficacy. But I really like Nib in the early rounds when no one respected it at all.
It's not just super poly though, because like sometimes it's not the correct play to make Rule Carlos, because like your hand doesn't facilitate it. Like you can't end on that fusion, so or you want to make Kaleido hard and like Perlaino pop it, because that's like the most value play. So I won my top 16 by hitting like a massive Nibiru, because like people just aren't aware that you're playing this card for the mirror. You just like punishes them so heavily. And my top 8 had a sick Nibiru, had orange light plus a thing as his last 2 cards. If not, like Nibiru was like gonna win a game that he had no business winning. I think that's what we kind of deck built it for. Like we need cards that can win by themselves.
Super high value. It's not 1 for 1, it's not 1 for 2. This card's trading for your whole hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because as long as we get to play, I'm comfortable. Right? It's Top Dweller's name of the game. It's Top Dweller.
Yeah.
It has coverage against Pendulum, and
We can't guarantee to draw 2 of us of like 2 go second cards. We just said we need to. We're going to be drawing 1 of them, and so it has to be super impactful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we like Nib. And then going first, we went for Talents and Callby. Callby was a bit for Dogwood because we were scared of time.
No, it's good going first.
And
Orange
Shifter.
Light.
I mean, there's Shifter decks as well.
Shifter decks.
And Talents is nuts.
Toad and Sprite. Yeah, Talents is nuts.
Talents is nuts because
Yeah.
they always trigger something in their turn. Also, if you have Talents, you can choose to mill them. Especially if you have a Shuffler. And then, like, even if they get a bit plus, you're just gonna go Talents, look a hand, and, like, win the game.
Yeah.
So, really like this card. Like, you can take Magnamut, make Dark, revive Magnamut.
Yeah.
Really good. Third Mystic Mine. If mine is good, play another one.
Exactly.
And we play Tikaboo over playing back row removal. This is our Flunder card, basically.
I think it's correct.
Shoutouts to the Leon playset. The idea is that we don't actually want back row removal against anything.
Yeah.
And against Flunder, this card can beat Shifter going first, and it can break the board going second. I didn't play a single Flunder, so I don't know who this
I
went.
played it, and then the guy went first. He set up full board. I just played this guy, and that was it.
You know what this card is? Rivalry.
It is rivalry. Yeah, like, full board, and I
Yeah,
flipped
yeah.
it, and like it trades with the barrier statue. At that point, it was just very good.
I had a game against Sprite where I got shifted and dimensional fissured, and I just set this, and like he couldn't beat it, so I was like, cool, you know.
I got paired against the guy that beat him off that in round 11, and he said that he was playing anti-fusion area, dim fishers, Neko main cat as well, just to choose. But I was when I looked at my side deck and Moffat said, "You're signing back row move around." I went, "No," and I was like, "Oh, I'm screwed." But like, it worked out fine.
Yeah, it's not.
It's
scary.
Yeah, it made sense, I think. It's kind of scary playing an event with only 1 heartbeat as your back row removal, but...
Like, there's no back row that is searchable, so whatever anti-hate they have to draw it.
Yeah.
We lose to like the monsters really. It's all monster effects.
Exactly.
And the fact we can loop and search heartbeat multiple times.
Yeah.
Exactly. And field spell, right? Because
Yeah.
even against those decks, you can still field spell and shuffle a tier to trigger the field spell. Like as long as you don't like under the fish or some of those cards. So yeah, really good.
Stein was another one that was good for that as well, because you can just summon Collider Hard off as well.
Oh yeah, that's another point of Stein. Yeah, it outs Necro Valley and like when
Dimensional
you Weller,
Fissure.
it's also good because you can like just Stein summon a guy attack.
Yep, exactly, yeah.
So yeah, I think that's mainly it. Shout outs to the boys, all the UEG house, the 14 of us that are from the UK. Massive thanks to Aaron that was here on Thursday and helped us a lot with the list.
Yep.
Marcus, anything?
No, I'm too tired. We got Metamats, the Brotherhood Games.
Brotherhood Games.
Huge shout out to Mike.
Hard market. Yeah, Mike from the Brotherhood like kitted the whole house with the cheesy cards. And
Oh yeah, literally
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
shit cards.
Like yeah, we didn't know if we could get him by the time, so big shout out to Michael.
Yeah,
So yeah, see you guys next time.
great. Chat to you guys soon.